Tonight, action-packed show. We have Understudy 77, Fubaka, and the Angstful Vapor. We're gonna go fast. We're gonna go hard. All right, y'all ready for this? Yeah, you are. Get it! Okay, that's all we can really do.
I'm tired. I want to go back.
Welcome, everybody, to the Plumes of Hazards. I am Mass Blast 09, and you already know who them other fools are.
Mm-hmm.
I think I broke my camera.
I think you may have broken.
You did too.
Can you guys see me waving?
Barely.
There's some shadow.
Yeah, there's a shadow of a wave.
But that was a very hard rockin' intro, Nasty.
Absolutely.
Dude, this is gonna be so annoying. There's a cricket down here somewhere.
We heard that on
we
Hangout.
heard it last night, dude.
No, that damn thing was cricketing all night. I had to mute you to figure out where it was.
Go ahead. Go into the news. I'm gonna find and kill this cricket.
He's not gonna find it. He's an idiot. He's gonna be there all night.
I can't do a cricket noise. Foo, you got some news, Betty?
I think Foos is still like, hello?
No, I was trying to mute Sean and it wasn't working.
Because he's already muted.
There it is.
There they are.
That'll be great.
Anyway.
You can't find it.
First order of business, I got my big time chair
Mm-hmm.
behind me that I'm sitting in. Not really a new chair, it's just my old comfy chair from my old desk. So I finally brought it down here to the space I now call the Plumes room. Anyway.
Wait, why did he go black?
Uh-oh.
I mean, hello? He just completely went black.
Did you break his camera too?
Nope.
Oh,
And
he
he's
dropped.
gone. And he's coming back.
Oh, to people asking in chat, the unicorn is for our very good friend Chief Fords.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave that there for him.
What a time. See, Sean didn't have to cut me off that time.
You cut yourself off. Like, where'd
Yeah.
he go?
Anyway, what I was getting to was I got my Chuff Dutch drip top today.
Yes.
Won't be able to see, but Chuff's like silhouette is laser etched on the inside of the barrel. I actually posted it on Instagram today, about an hour ago actually. Shameless plug, I'm at Fubaka, so check it out.
So come follows.
Yeah,
We also have at Plumes of Hazard, at the Angstful Vapor, and
alright, those guys too. Anyway,
Hey, just actually posted the other day a few times?
what was that?
I actually posted the other day a few times. I don't know.
I can post it.
So, Duro said that's such a shit stain of a color for that chair. But if that doesn't scream Middle Eastern, I don't know what does.
Yo, this chair's comfy as fuck. I don't care if it looks like a shit stain. It's my shit stain. That's what it is.
Looks like a Laffy Taffy.
So, moving on with shameless plugs. A very hit or miss topic, I guess, in terms of favorability. Pre-made coils.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for that image?
Yeah, pull it up. So, the shop I work at, we recently got these things in. Different varieties. I have a sample here, which is like, you can see up close. It's twisted 24 gauge tiger wire. These are really good quality things. I mean, in the shop that I work at, it gets incredibly busy. And somewhere in the middle of all that craziness, someone buys a dripper and they want it built. These things they saved so much time for us, because when I'm like bugging out and I got like 6 customers deep, I could just take one of these things, just mount it, screw it down, clip the leads, and it's good to go. That said, the reason why I said it's so hit or miss is because there are people, who have shops. We're kind of traditionalists in that. Building is building. That's why I feel like it's a very regional slash. It's a regional thing in terms of what kind of shops would use it, depending on your demographic and so forth. There are a lot of fancy people in my neighborhood that have high-end stuff. They're Leviosa type people. This works. Pre-made coils. The company that we get them from, it's called Tradition Vapes. I think it's traditionvapes.com. But they've got a very solid product. They're 4 months in, and I feel like depending on the kind of shop you have, these things are fucking useful.
Yeah, they have a bunch of Ethiopian kids whining shit all day.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Brooklyn. That's where they're based. But yeah, these things are pretty awesome. I haven't used one yet. I've tested the ones that I've installed, put in for customers. But I am probably.
There you go, Foo. Sorry, it took me a second.
Yeah. Master Show. That's their pre-made Clapton coils.
That's pretty nice.
I mounted that on a tugboat, and it barely fit.
I gotta say, I think personally, unless that specific use case for pre-made coils, okay, I can kind of see that.
Fancy coils, yes, it's even more valuable.
But for crazy coil, stuff that I'm probably not gonna ever bother doing, like the Clapton one, I can start justifying that.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of us enjoy building our own shit. I mean, from a shop perspective and working at a shop, or even just
What was price on something like that?
The coils usually come in 5-packs. I should probably tell him to do 6.
Probably.
But K-Fun coils, he does K-Fun coils. He'll do like 10 wraps, 28 gauge. Different varieties. They'll vary from $8 to $12 retail depending on the. Obviously, the Clapton coils will be more expensive. More importantly,
8 to 12 per coil.
No, per pack.
Oh, per pack. Gotcha.
More importantly, actually, this is actually something that some shops would probably bite on. They also do pre-oxidized mesh.
Nice.
It's good. It's very well done, good quality, pre-made mesh. I could definitely see people wanting to eliminate that from their lives if they're into Jennies.
The company Joe uses is Tradition Vapes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
We on to Angsty?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So my first thing, we should mention the giveaway. I think.
Yeah, we should.
That way we can get some people get some time to enter. So this week on as our guest we have Rob from Fluid Vapor, and he is generously giving away some really cool stuff. So he has got 2 of his RBA stands, which are flat pack things where you kind of assemble it yourself, but it's got spots for your Canthal, and they're really cool. Is it fluidvapor.com, isn't it? It's easy for me to say. So pull it up. You can see the pictures, unless
I'm going to screen share them right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep talking. You're good.
Okay. So he's giving away 2 of those things. We're going to do that via random draw from the people that are in our chat, which is great. We appreciate you guys coming out. It's if you're not on there yet, we're watching from YouTube. Pull up the ohmpage.com/live, or just go on the page and then click on live. Yeah.
Ohm meter built in and everything. They're nice stands.
Oh, there's one with the ohm meter built in. Sweet. I thought it was a drop-in one.
Dude, you weren't there when Corey was showing it off. He was showing off his desk.
Yeah, they're really nice stands.
He got one of those on his desk.
It's freaking pimp. So he's giving away 2 of those. But that's random for in chat. So the other thing that we're actually doing a contest for, pull up in our Facebook group, search for Plumes of Hazard, or in our sub, which is reddit.com/r/Plumes of Hazard. And there's a thread in both of those things. Enter it. We are looking for a haiku about vooping, and the reason is because he's designed a TP holder.
Voop stand.
So it's got spots for all your various mechs. It's got spots for egos. It's even got a couple box mod slots, and then underneath it holds your shit tickets.
Yeah.
And it's
One
hilarious.
entry per person.
One entry per person, please. And this time, please do not put it in chat. Put it in one of those two spots. It makes it really difficult for us to try to keep up with it. Yeah.
Facebook or Reddit. That about compromise. Or if you use neither Facebook nor Reddit, which I find hard to believe that you use neither of them, you can also leave a comment on the video, and I will see that.
Like live?
Yeah, like you can comment on the YouTube video.
No, but you're going to check that live?
Yeah, I check them live anyway.
Did we skip What Are You Vaping? I think we did.
Yeah, I'm doing that next. I just wanted to give some folks a second to come up with a vooping haiku. Okay, next up, what are you vaping, Ahmed? We already got
Whoa, dude, you used my real name.
Whoa.
We do that all the time.
I know, I'm joking.
Ooh, what was that? Did you just fart, Raul?
Oh, I thought we were still talking about vooping.
Right now, on the Stellaire clone, I got a Rex from Crescent City Clouds. I'm kind of vaping it. It's like a graham cracker, like coffee-ish tasting tobacco. Light enough to all day. I've been vaping it for the last 3 days. I love it. I'm vaping that kind of mixed with this beta he sent me. It's called Vanilla Beta Concoction. Really yummy. It's like a vanilla custard that I don't really like on its own. It's good, but I don't really do custards. It actually mixes with the tobacco really nice.
How about you, Massey?
Why you gotta go to me? Go to you.
No, I'm doing a weird order this time.
Wow. Get the brown people out of the way. I see how it is. So, I'm
I would have got that up first. I would have got that.
Yeah, that's not the only thing I'm vaping, angsty.
Yeah. Why's it got to be a weird order? So, anyways, I also ordered one of the super duper chuff tops with chuff inside because I like chuff in my mouth every time I vape. And Koval sent a generous bottle of blueberry custard. I've been talking to a few people that have made orders recently, and they also got blueberry custard in a generous bottle. So it sounds like they either fucked up on the blueberry custard or they just have a lot to give away. Thanks, Koval.
I put in a $50 order with those guys at one point. Didn't get one sample, so
They must have heard you. I must have heard you. Now they're like, everybody gets a fucking 30.
Mhm.
Anyways, so I'm vaping that in my Helios in a tube mod, an electronic tube mod that we're going to be talking about later on. So that's that.
Nice. How about you? I might as well go do the full bat to full order. How about you, Sean?
I have my Silverstein Vapors pedal with a K-Fun Light with a very interesting top cap that I know we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and some raspberry mint.
Nice. I've got a sort of a plethora. Raspberry mint the rose, as always. This is something we're going to be talking about a little bit later. That's enough. And this is something we're going to be talking about later. That's enough. But inside here, I've got Dark Star from Stashy Liquids and Raspberry Mint, the rest of them.
Dude, I can't wait for the stash to show up at my local shop. I'm so happy for that.
Dude, that Dark Star dough.
Yeah, Dark.
I want Washington, man. That's my jam.
That's the one I want too. Dark Star's great though. I do like dripping that primarily.
But Lushington is my jam.
Yep. All right. So let's fire off this first one, Sean.
Sure.
So I talked about this a few weeks ago.
You guys got matching tanks?
Nope.
Are they engraved with each other's names on it?
Mine's matte.
Mine is polished. His is matte finish.
But what they turned out to be was this little cool thing that Chris Munn makes to replace your tank section top and bottom ring and top cap of your K-Fun. The only thing you really leave left is your base. Sean got one that has already been polished. Apparently, this is Hemlicum, which is kind of frosted. They are acrylic, not glass, and but they're easily polishable. Apparently, I have not done that to this one yet because, well.
But this one, the polished one, this one right here is freaking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
As evidenced in the pictures and the actual camera stream.
And your rock and roll GIF.
Hey man, leave my rock and roll GIF alone.
I got a matte one. Mine's matte. It just hasn't been polished.
Yeah, angsty
it
and
works the
understudy, man.
same.
They're cute as fuck. Getting like
Yeah.
those tanks.
They are.
They're cool as shit, though. They
They're
really are. I did a 30-second review on them. They're when I first got it in, it was a little. It definitely had a little bit of a "what the fuck is this" going on. Like
mine came green mast.
Not funny.
Not
I'm
funny.
not really sure how this works.
Right.
I'm not really sure how to make a seal. I ended up finding so the seal is made with the drip tip.
Yeah, we should cover
It's
that.
wide bore as hell to fit.
Not only is the seal made with so basically the top where normally your 510 your drip tip goes, and I'm not going to take mine out because it's going to screw it all up. But where it goes straight through. So there's no lip or anything for it to hold an O-ring to seal it like a K-Fun top cap normally does. Nor is there any room for the rest of the drip tip to go in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it off because I don't have much juice left in here anyway. So I've got a nano chimney in there, and it sticks up into it's demo. So the nano chimney, which is the uber short one, right, the little tiny guy, it still sticks up on top of here. But the thing is, if you can see the black around the outside, that's an O-ring that's sort of just sitting on the end of there. I had to go through my drip tips and find a O-ring that fit just right over the top of that thing, and I could still get a drip tip in it.
Now, see, I had a couple O-rings that fit, so I didn't really have the same problem that you had.
Right. Plus, I didn't have not one of any of my drip tips fit, except for the stock K-Fun one fit a little bit, and it still is only one O-ring in. And yours is kind of the same way, right? But not as bad.
So
Yeah,
is there no room for machining for a drip tip on the inside, like a small well where it would, the drip tip stops at one point and then you have the whole.
The drip tip actually goes over the chimney.
Yeah, the chimney goes into the drip tip, and there's an O-ring around the outside of the chimney, so that way that whole thing kind of seals it. And if you mess with a K-Fun before, you know that seal is really important, right? Because then your pressures get messed up and it doesn't feed right or whatever. I did finally get it to work, but Sean got it to work a lot better than I did. It's not bad. It functions. I don't feel like it. I mean, to me, it's a tank. I don't find it performs any better than a regular tank. It does look a lot cooler, and it doesn't look. There's not very many of these things out there. Understudy found a clone that you tried to get.
That I have not yet heard. So my mail got destroyed, the clone piece, and I told Chris in conversations with Chris that I had ordered that one too because I was curious to see if it would polish the same way and all that stuff, because that one's available, and I mean his are like a 6-month to 1 year waiting list right now.
Right.
But my mail got destroyed. It's gone.
Right. You got an empty.
The owner of the company has not been back yet to say whether or not they will replace it, or whether or not it was even insured. Which I paid $5 for shipping. It should be insured.
Well, I would think so.
They said they don't know. So no crucifixions till next week.
Right. So we'll figure that out later. My bottom line is it's very nice looking. It's a little hard to get, which makes your K-Fun, which at this point is stock thing, right? Most people have K-Funs. If you're wanting to rebuild, there's a lot of K-Funs out there. This makes it look a little more interesting and unique. To me, I don't find it necessarily worth it because I had a lot of problems with this, and it was a pain in my butt.
I, on the other hand, am incredibly fucking happy with it.
Right.
The tank is a little bit small for me. I have to carry a bottle with me because I end up filling this quite a few times a day. But
yeah,
aesthetically, in my opinion, it's the coolest thing out there for the K-Fun, and I'm very, very happy with mine.
I would tend to agree. It is pretty cool. Honestly, I really like the Science of Vaping nano cap and the nano drip tip.
See, I like the flat top Science of Vaping and all that stuff too, but just aesthetically, I think this thing is really, really sweet.
I do agree. It's not bad. And if you do want to try to get onto them, you hit up, Chris Munn on that Facebook?
Chris Munn, Henry White.
Henry White.
K-Fun Addicts Facebook group might have a list for them as well.
Right. So if that appeals to you, go get them. They're 50 monies plus $10 shipping.
Yep.
Not bad. Not bad. Anything else on that?
That's it for me.
All right. There is an article that came out that I'd like to share. There's always out about vaping and stuff. This is by a particular professor named Pelosa, Professor Pelosa, and the whole interview thing that I'm about to link here inside chat is pretty cool. But one of the quotes that he pulled out of here is actually something that I've been saying, with the caveat that I don't have actual numbers or anything. This guy's broken out a little more science and can speak to it a little more specifically. But this professor said, the quote is, if the health risk associated with tobacco smoking is equal to 100, vaping health risk is 4. So I think that brings out, that kind of brings in a bunch of things that I think is really relevant here. It reminds us that vaping is not completely safe. Nothing, if you're just breathing oxygen and nitrogen, okay. But anything else you're breathing in your lungs, there's going to be some amount of risk involved. But compared to smoking, it's a non-issue to me. That's me. So I just want to share that little thing. My big one this week is this. So I have gone and purchased a SAT-22. I fully admit, and admitted a long time ago, that I didn't give Jenny's a fair shake. I went from dripping to K-Funs and other silica addies, and I loved them, and that's sort of where I ended up with. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to try a Jenny, I'm going to try the one that I have repeatedly heard is amongst the top couple that are available. There's a lot of things to like about it.
I was going to say, what are you, Todd now? You're like...
I'm trying to figure out how to say it right. So I'm going to go through a couple pros and cons. Pros. It's beautiful. The machining of this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I even find the air holes, where this little countersunk area where the air holes are, it's gorgeous. I mean, it came to me clean as a whistle. It's very uniquely designed. It doesn't look anything like really any other Jenny, which to me, that's one of the things I don't really care for Jennies, is they all, to me, look the same. This one looks a little bit different. I thought that was kind of cool. The chamber, oh my god, the chamber is so freaking small. If you haven't seen one of these guys, there's just not much there. There's enough for the wick and coil and enough air to go around it, and that's about it. The little tiny air holes, there's two little tiny air holes in here. I actually kind of got to like the draw. It's not Hellfire UFO tight, but it's awfully tight. But I actually kind of like it. It's actually really nice. The stuff that delivers great flavor.
That is necessary for a good Jenny.
Totally. I mean, it's great. I did find that darker, richer juices work a lot better in here. The Dark Stars and the Terrifics and the...
I told you.
Yeah. And so did Understudy. Oh shoot! What's the other Noel one that you brought?
Lucid Dreams, man.
Lucid Dreams.
I don't even own a Jenny, and I knew that though.
Right. So awesome. It was better than I tried my Raspberry in it, because I wanted to try to do apples to apples. It's the lighter juices like that. I can taste the mesh a lot more pronounced in a juice that's not quite so dark and rich. Anyway, so those are all the pros. The cons, unfortunately, to me, is it's still a Jenny. I went up to Pantheon. To a guy who owns several Sats and the Oz 22s and all these other high-end Jennies. I was like, look, I need a hand. I want you to show me how to do it so I can get a real good vape, so I can really get this thing a fair shake. And it's just an ordeal. I can wrap a K-Fun in like 5 minutes flat and wick it and be vaping. This thing is more like an hour. I mean, it just took forever fiddling in the hot spots and whatever, and you got to make sure that it's tilted the right angle. It's wicked well, but when when it starts getting lower, you got to make sure it's touching the wick, and you don't lay it on its side. You can't throw it in pocket. That's one of the things I love about the Mods Micro is I just chunk this thing in my pocket with a K-Fun or the Rose, and I go. Can't do that with this thing. But I don't know. That's kind of my bottom line on it. It's fantastic, and I don't know. Or rather, let me say it like this: it's fantastic, but I'd just soon be vaping on my Rose or a K-Fun. That's really the bottom line. To me, in my own use cases, that's.
And no, man, I'm in agreement, because I'm kind of the same. I put up the doodle for trade. Because as much as I love the vape from it, as much as I absolutely love it, it's not good enough to surpass the convenience factor of a vacuum tube that doesn't leak, or a vacuum tank that doesn't leak.
So what you're saying is you should have bought the one on Fastec.
I should not, because that's just not how I roll. So no, I'm not going to do that. However, I don't know how long I'm going to keep it either. That said.
Hey, is that a bug assault shotgun back there behind you?
It is a bug assault.
Nice.
Somebody just said that this
was.
week. They were watching the replay. They said, "Hey, is that a bug assault behind you?" I was like, "Yeah, it is." It was 359. 359 tweeted at me.
I just noticed that when you moved. I'm like, wait a minute.
That hasn't moved. It's always right there. It's right
You
hand.
should just start following on Instagram. Put some stuff up, dude.
If you don't know what it is, I don't want to make this an inside joke. It's a pump shotgun that shoots granulated salt, just regular table salt, and it's for killing pests. And it works really well. It's great. I supported them on Indiegogo a couple of years ago when they were coming out, and it works perfectly. All right, so there's that. I want to leave the set alone at this point. I did want to bring up the Cloud9 thing. So there is a new drug out there, and I'm getting notifications from Reddit. There's a new drug out there. They're calling it Cloud9. Apparently, it's some sort of mephedrone, or I've heard it's maybe a cannabinoid variant, or it's like meth, is what I've heard. Isn't it still liquid bottles or whatever? You can put a couple drops in your tongue and you get screwed up. High blood, high pulse rate, give you a little hallucinogenic sort of properties, la 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 la. But the problem is, these people that are getting put, these teens that are getting put in the hospital for it, apparently they've confiscated some vaping equipment in relation to this drug. I guess some people are trying to, instead of just doing it, orally liquid, they're trying to vape it. Yeah, no, Matt said it just right.
Hashtag white people.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what the racial diversity thing is. I
just felt it an appropriate time to say it.
I mean, if it's like meth, then yeah, probably a high percentage of white people, right?
Not even once.
So I say the same thing I say as to everything else like this is if you're going to be banning or using this as a ammunition against vaping, then you better be banning spoons, because you can use it when you're taking heroin or.
There's one person comes to mind if spoons should be banned. But
yeah. Just leave that alone.
But that's not related to vaping. Baseball bats can break knees. Cars can hit people. Yeah, okay, well, it's the tool, right? So just don't use that. Don't be stupid. The other thing I thought was pretty cool that I saw come across this week was Vice.com did a little thing saying that Big Tobacco has finally lost its hold on the e-cig market, and I think this is kind of cool because for the first time, non-disposable and non-cig-alikes have overtaken the cig-alikes.
And that's awesome.
Which is great. Yeah. So your liquids and your tanks and your mods and your evods and all that sort of junk. Finally overtaking the disposable cig-alikes, which I hopefully that means something when these FDA things come down, because that's one of the things that obviously they're pushing for is the pre-filled cardos, the open tank systems. They're trying to demonize them as if they were evil. And I did have one more link in here. I don't think I'm going to bother with it though. It's not terribly relevant.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm done. Shano.
All right, first I want to give a quick shout out because I just got a message from a guy that we met at Vape Mania Rehab, and he has kindly offered to do, and I don't think I've told all you guys this, but he's done like 12 6-inch by 6-inch vinyl stickers for us for the car. Plumes hazard stickers, really nice ones. He's one of the admins in the League of Ordinary Vapors, so I just wanted to give him a shout out and say thank you on air because he's watching, and he did these stickers for us.
Gracias.
Word up.
So once I get them from him, I'm going to be sending out probably a black and a white one to each of you guys too.
Hashtag kickbacks.
I did a cloud comp over the weekend. I'm gonna share this video with you guys.
That was on your Hellfire, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. It's got to start from the beginning.
I noticed neither of you are doing the competition lean.
No competition leans, but yeah. So I did a cloud comp from my Hellfire over the weekend. It was kind of a big joke. It ended up being a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed it. Everybody had a good laugh about it. I wanted to share the video. I thought it was funny. I also saw a lot of really cool stuff while I was there. One of which was this guy right here. which is a Naos Raptor dual 18650 in a P box. And this is the beta. So this is in a box the size of our A-mods. It's a 120 watt box the size of the A-mods. He also said that it's going to be that center button is going to be a flush button. It's either going to be attack or it's going to be a fully put in flush button. This is just a prototype. As somebody who loves the center fire button like that, I'm pretty excited about that, and I love the size of that thing. So
I like that it's kind of ambidextrous too. That way it's on the same distance on either hand.
The pot's real small and it's on the inside.
Wouldn't you want more of a flush button though? Because that you could.
Well, that's what he's looking. Or that's what he's going to be using as a flush button in the future.
Yeah.
Either a tack switch or a fully flush button.
Wait! Somebody write down the timestamp here. Matt's just recommended something that wasn't a P9.
How do you know? The P9's probably flusher than that thing.
That's possible.
I never said chrome or anti-vandal or light up.
Another cool thing that I saw while I was over there is this thing. So this guy's interesting, and I don't have details for anybody today.
Was that a steampunk asthma inhaler?
It's a steampunk SX350, and it's kind of interesting. The guy does mech mods, and he just started doing regulated mods, but each one's custom to order. So you tell him the kind of thing that you're looking for, or the basic idea, and then he goes and builds.
And then he popped up
order that one.
And it's kind of interesting.
It is. Now, the one thing I was showing it to a few people. It looks like he's using a. Did you actually see it in person?
Yeah.
Was the button a shell from a bullet?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because that's what it looks like. And then all the wires running over into the side pipe. Is that where the battery's at?
The battery is in that side pipe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering why so many wires were running over there.
Right.
I'm wondering were the switches over there too?
No, all the switches are like the switches on that far right side.
Interesting.
So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Some of those may just be aesthetic.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of like how it's got a magnifying.
I thought the magnifying glass was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Over the SX350.
That's kind of cool.
I also got a chance to try to play with one of these. Have you guys seen these? The Colonial mod, I think it is. Yeah, the Mad Industries Colonial.
Not until you mention it.
They're a $110 mech mod that's made in America out of aluminum. They come in a bunch of different colors, and dude, I gotta say, they're freaking nice. Like the switch is lovely. It's absolutely lovely in these things, and it's another one of those cheap entries or affordable entries in mechanical mods.
Yep, I ordered my flagship this past week.
Nice.
Is that a it's a 510 on top, so that's not like a hybrid dripper or something there?
No, it's a 510 on top. So what he sells Patriot top caps that go on top. Buy a Patriot top cap as well that matches the finish.
I see.
Take a second and do a shout out. I was just alerted of this today from Cloudport about the T5. Remember we talked last week about the T5s catching on fire? So the T5s are catching on fire, and Cloudport has just said that they're not going to release a new update to fix the bricking issue or the fire issue. You're going to have to go get a T6 or a T8 if you fucked up your device.
So basically they said fuck off.
Yeah, basically they fucked up, and now it's everybody who has one's paying for it, is what it seems like.
That's my favorite GIF that you've ever used.
And then the last one, the last thing that I have, and in my opinion the most important thing that I have, is I did a show with a guy named Vince from Australia, and I did this with 4 Serious Vapors on Vapors TV with the guy Cotton. He had this guy on Vince. We wanted to have an emergency show with Vince, but we could not get scheduling. So now we're talking to Vince, or now I'm going to talk about him. Vince is one of the first Australian vendors to ever start selling e-cigs. Vince had his business shut down, and he's been fighting in court for years. He finally got his stuff back after he won in the magistrate after 2 years. It rusted as hell. And he's now coming into fighting the Supreme Court in Australia, and he's going to be incurring legal fees of about $10,000 a week in order to fight. And he's very close to nearing bankruptcy. So he has some links, a fund link and a change.org petition link that he's trying to use. Basically, if people can share it, if people can donate something, whatever the case may be, if you can help this guy, because he's trying to keep a legal precedent from being formed anywhere else in the world, as well as fighting for Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really important thing that vapors from all over the world understand that this will affect every single vapor, not just vapors in Australia. So I wanted to cover that a little bit, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because this guy is a very nice guy, and he's really doing everything that he can to fight.
It's funny. Every other Australian customer that I have come to the shop, because a lot of foreign people stroll through, mostly French people, but most of my Australian customers always talk about how the Australian government, they usually call them cunts about e-cigs.
Mm-hmm. But those links are in the YouTube video. I just threw them in chat for anybody who wants to help out, who can share it, who can do anything that they can. For Vince here, it would be greatly appreciated from any of us. And hopefully at some point, pending that he still has a leg to stand on in the next few weeks, we will hopefully have him on the show still to talk.
Yep.
Masty, all you.
Yeah, I was going to say, we also got to say that over there that the regulations are way worse than they are here right now.
Cigarettes are like $20 a pack over there.
I mean, and even cigarettes in certain areas, I'm pretty sure they aren't allowed.
Yeah, is it Western Australia? One of the places.
And that's where he's fighting, is Western Australia.
Yeah. I mean, that's some heavy duty stuff, man. So if y'all can help them out. All right, I got quite a few things, so I'm going to try to work through them pretty quickly. First thing that I wanted to talk about was Veritube just recently came out, and they are in stock right now. I don't know for how long, but with the the big 28.8 size. For your 26650 mods or bigger, 510s. All the 510s, including the smaller ones, all these new ones, there were some issues with some where the pins were not long enough for mods that have those pins almost shoved, parallel to the bottom. So these are a little bit longer. The insulators have gone from ABS to Delrin. A few other improvements. The bottom caps on them are drilled out bigger, so they fit 16 gauge wire. You could still, I think, drill them out a little bit more to fit a fatter wire. Updated springs. So some people were complaining about the springs not being strong enough. So the springs are updated, and also your center pin solder point on the bottom is got a bigger hole also to accommodate bigger wire. So a lot of changes, which is kind of nice for him to be keeping up with, requirements, Yeehee changing stuff and asking for bigger wires and all that stuff. So these are all up to date, and they're on Veritub's site. Next thing, and something that we're going to cover, I'm just going to talk about it right now. We're actually going to look at it closer, is the new Yeehee SX350 100 watt board. Okay, Yeehee has come out with a new 100 watt board. It is still called the SX350, but it's the SX350 version 100. Now, is this the same board that we talked about months ago? I don't know, and I'm going to say yes or no because who knows what Yeehee has done to this. But we're going to get up and close time during tech time with it to compare the old new one, and we'll share. I'll put up right now some of the specs. As you can see there, a lot higher amperage requirements, and this board is going to be upgradable. It does have a USB plug for it. The USB plug is not a charging port. Okay, so there is going to be a charging port that's going to come out that's going to be able to do balancing, because if you notice, is that showing up correctly for you guys on there?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, because it's backwards on my screen for some reason. But if you notice the typical versus max versus minimum on the voltage, this is going to be an 8.5 or should I say a 7.4 volt stacked requirement for the voltage. So you're either going to have 18650s stacked, or you're going to have a LiPo or something that's outputting 7.4 volts or higher. Okay, so your parallel boxes, and you're going to have an issue with charging. So they have released a board that we're going to look at that is going to allow you to do balancing between your cells if you choose to use LiPos or 18650s, and all that stuff. So just wanted to cover that. Let me pull my my article here. Also, Veritube has these in stock right now. He also has set up a 10% off coupon code, and it is Plumes. I don't know if somebody wants to type it in chat. Coupon code Plumes will get you 10% off. The code is good for anything on the site unless you are getting a volume discount, meaning you're ordering 10 chips at a time, or you're ordering a certain amount of 510s or anything like that. So you can either use a 10% or you can use the volume discount. So check it out. He set a code up for us. So for Plumes viewers, so
good on him, man.
Plumes code. Next thing, running through here. Okay, that is one thing that some people were talking about the SX350. If this was going to be version 2, version 3, version 4, officially from Yeehee, they're calling it the SX350 100 watt. So that's it. And yes, it will be upgradable via the onboard USB. Very important. If you got one of these boards early, if you're buying it from Germany, if you're buying it from, I'm trying to think the other place, Yeehee released about 300 of them on accident a few weeks back, a few months, so you might have seen some of these pop up here and there. If you got a charging board that came with it, do not use it. Do not use it whatsoever, because that charging board is only a 9-volt charging board that stops at 8.4 and doesn't do any balancing. Okay, so we're going to show you that later on TechTime also. So just FYI, if anybody has these, the actual balancing boards are not out yet. So if you got one with a board, don't use that board because it's not a balancing board. So when the boards become available, they will come with a wall adapter and the board itself. So, and we'll look at exactly what the board is going to look like, because I have one. Next thing that I want to talk about is this guy right here. Let me pull my my screen up. Just wanted to do a quick review of where's my screen? No, it's not Avamo, but it's Avamo's brother. It's or sister, I should say, or I mean, whatever. It's the E-Holly. Okay, so why they call it that, I have no idea. But single 18650. No, it's not a 26650. That's the first thing I thought when I saw this Gigantron. Okay. 35 watt version. We'll pull up the screen here so you guys can see it. Let's get it to focus, and it's pretty quick. Okay, there you go. I have it set to, come on, turn on, bastard. 34 watts. Okay, and a 0.5. So real quick, you have your top ring here that you can pull off and do your Ego style setup for your ProTank Minis and all that other stuff. It did come with a adjustable center pin, and as you can see, I have removed that screw because the screw only went down so far. And with the screw in there, I could only take something like my Authentic Helios here, okay, which has a pretty reasonable center pin, okay, so it doesn't stick out a whole bunch, and it would only go down about that far, okay, that competition gap. Yeah, so I had to take that out, and basically with that with that center pin out. You can get almost all the way down. I mean, the Helios does have a little bit of a long pin, but there you have it. It is heavy, very heavy duty, very stout feeling. It will run on an 18350, but how much battery life you're going to get out of that, I'm not sure. Here's a shot of the internals, and you can see that there is plenty of meat on the inside. I don't know why didn't they just make this thing a 26650, to tell you the truth, because there's plenty of material still left in there. You can see the positive pin down there, but it also has the bottom ring you can take off to make it. You can see how thick that is there. So nice things about it. It's it's tube mod. I'm not really too crazy into the tube mods. You set it at 35 watts and it performs at 35 watts. Says Kanga side when it comes on.
It says what when it comes on?
Kanga side. Here, let me turn it off. Okay, so it says bye bye. Let's see if I'll get it to focus and then I'll turn it on. All right, here we go. Turn the hell on. Kanga side. Kang side. All right.
Kingston.
And just like with everything else, it doesn't have a memory. So you take the battery out, you put it back in, you got to reset your settings. So that's something kind of a bummer. So you have your up and down, just like the old school Vamo. The box actually says, "Continue the Vamo legend. We never stopping progress." Okay, never
What?
stopping progress.
So they actually mentioned that. Is it a different company?
No, it's the same. It's the same.
Oh, okay.
KSD, I believe. Same company. Yeehee makes the board in this, and they're saying it's an SX350 board. There's obviously no way to upgrade this or anything like that. So it's a 35-watt board. They had a few different boards that were not upgradable, and the screen is just a little bit different. It vapes really good. It vapes great. I'm not too crazy about the whole resetting of your settings. So now I have to sit here and jack this thing up till it gets to where I had it. Overall, not bad. Pricing, it's a little high. Veritube has it right now for $59. Use 10% off code, so you're looking at around $55, $54 for a 35-watt device. We look back at the Vamos and stuff like that. It's not too bad. I have seen it on at a different price for something that might be a clone, and the pricing is still close to $46. So you could get it in the States for $10 more. I think that's definitely worth it. If you want to try it out, I think it would be a great startup device for a person that wants to be able to grow into 35 watts. And it is heavy duty. I mean, it is it's pretty stout. So I don't think you're gonna screw this thing up. I don't know about construction on the inside since it's a different board. On some of the issues of Ammo's had with the tilting of the inside wedge and stuff like that. So, but other than that, I mean, I've been using it for a few days and it's not a bad device at all. I know that there is a 20-watt version also for a little bit less money. So the name, I don't know what to tell you. So beats me. So. Yeah, and let's see, what else did I have
before
on
you
my,
jump into that, man? I think we're gonna save distress and the distress stuff for when we bring in Rob here in a second, because it'd be nice to get the opinion of a B&M owner.
Yep, that sounds good. Okay, you're talking about the
the other two topics that you have.
Okay, fine. Take my topics away. Good, I'm done.
So on that note,
wait, just delay for a couple minutes.
So on that note, it is time to welcome our guest to the show this evening. He has been around the vaping world for a very, very long time. and he makes some really cool shit. So everybody welcome Rob from Fluid Vapor.
What up, Josh?
You gotta unmute yourself, Rob.
I don't think you heard you. There he goes.
How you doing?
What's happening?
Hey, folks. What's happening, guys?
So, jump into Brian here. You guys have been around forever, man. So, what was it like back when, and how has the changing industry affected business? And talk a little bit about who you are and what you do as well in this.
Well, just like probably 95% of the other vendors out there, friend put me on the e-cigs probably going on 4 years ago. Tried it, failed with what was out there when back then. Gave it a break for a few months, probably 6 months or so. Tried it again and never looked back. Changed my life. Same story. End up helping your friends out. Turns into your buddies coming over your house, trying to get you to get them product, and then you start DIY and juice, and then they're coming over to get juice from you, and then it snowballs into a business.
Hey man, you got one of the ego twists for me? Come on.
And it seemingly snowballs into, looking behind me, an absolutely gorgeous shop.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Well, 3 years to get it the way it is now, and we're happy with it.
It is a very nice shop, though I haven't been in the room that he's in, but decent size, nice size, floor, sales floor, and then there's an upstairs lounge with diner style booth seating, couches. It's really, really chill upstairs.
That's where they do the weekly meets, right?
Yep.
We see some of the guys go and have the meets there. That is kind of cool.
Flat rat liquids.
You see that stuff happen a lot, man. One of the local guys around here that we've had on before, Vapors Noel. Man, they started with this little tiny hole in the wall shop, and now they own the two shops next to each other, and they have their main shop, the pro shop, the juice labs in the back, and they've went from this tiny little shop to this really gorgeous spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool to watch that evolution, though. It's really cool to watch vaping go from a brick and mortar to, shops are turning into communal-based places. Right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Which is something that I don't think ever would have gotten there with cigarettes.
No.
Ever.
No. I think Sean really likes it just because there's Spider-Man hands coming out the back of the wall.
Yeah, in his head. I like the freaking slot machines over there on the left.
Yeah. Are those functional, Rob? Can you actually put money in there?
They're real slot machines. You can put money in them, but they spit out redemption tickets.
Nice.
They're valued tickets, and then you could swap them out for merchandise.
All right.
That's cool.
That's cool. That's what I was going to ask, because I'm sure there's laws around. Because, forgive me, but you don't really look very Native American to me.
No.
For anyone who has recently joined in, too, or joined in since the very beginning of the show, there will be 2 random giveaways to the chat tonight for Fluid Vapor RBA stands, which are freaking cool as shit. And then our big giveaway, you can enter on Facebook or on our subreddit, there are threads for it, is for a Voop stand, which I don't even think Fluid has fully released yet, at least not for sale.
No.
And you can do that by writing a haiku about Voop life. Do you want to show the Voop stand to everybody, Rob?
Yeah, I can do
Oh, dude, that is pimp. Oh, is that 3D printed?
Yeah.
It's laser cut.
A laser cut. Man, that is awesome.
Super cool.
You got the little sprung.
Wouldn't that be some shit if that was a mod too?
Or it was a U-can.
I think that's too close for comfort for the
You
mod.
could make that a U-can when you think about it.
Put a bottle, have a little plunger thing on top of the screen.
Now, we did say for this contest today, both of them are United States only. So sorry, all the international guys watching.
We're sorry. Your shipping is expensive.
So you guys make cool shit, like the RBA workstation, like
Mhm.
the scoop stand, and more importantly, like the mods that you make, which I'm going to let Brian ask you about.
So you're gonna take both of my topics, but before we get there, let's let Matt do a couple of his, or at least one of his news things. So because we're gonna bring Rob into it.
Well, one of the news things was I just wanted to talk about, what kind of, and people in chat are more than welcome to add to this, what kind of issues is anyone seeing yet because of the distress in Hong Kong that's going on with kind of, they have a kind of like an Occupy Hong Kong thing going on over there. So I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing some slowdown in stuff, whether it's parts, whether it's, I'm already kind of seeing that with some of the parts that I use. So, I'm wondering what that's going to translate to, and I'm wondering if you, Rob, have seen any of that yet.
I haven't seen any flack from any of that.
Okay.
No individuals, nothing. I mean, business as usual.
Okay. I know that there was a bit of a slowdown with not having to do necessarily with that in customs. I don't know if it was coming in through New York or if it was coming in on the West Coast, but I heard that there was a seizure of a few tons of U.S. currency that was coming in from overseas. So that delayed things for a few weeks in customs. So, printed. I don't know if it was real or not, but so yeah. So if anyone's, I know that there is. Yeah, somebody just said about a holiday coming up too. So
I know a lot
that
of the
happens.
local vendors here in Maryland have huge issues with like Chinese New Year
Yeah.
and getting stock
We
around
all,
that time.
actually, we all make sure we're up to stock right before that Chinese New Year hits. Anybody who's been through it the previous year or the year before that, they know. Make sure you got everything you need for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other,
Brian.
you want to talk? Well, while we're on brick and mortar and stock and stuff, let's talk about the other one.
The clones one.
Yep.
So, if any of you guys have been keeping up with Plumes, and we talked about this. Fu, what do you think it was? 2 weeks ago? Was it a week ago? About the group of people out in the West Coast that are getting together to fight clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the last 2 weeks we talked
It was,
about.
yeah, within the last 2 weeks, we talked about a group of modders and a group of companies and vendors, mainly in the West Coast, that were getting together to form this, kind of coalition to fight clones. And they've been going after a few people, mainly, they can't go against, Chinese. Cloners. So what they're doing is they're trying to hit the B&Ms that are selling clones. And we were, one of the things that I wondered was, what kind of legal rights do they have to kind of do that here? And they have gone as far as not only going after the shops themselves, but anyone who is talking or basically putting out information about a clone. The one that comes to mind was the Skeleton Key guys, where apparently going after Vapor Joe and Vapor Joe's network and the Vaping Underground for putting a link to something that showed a Skeleton Key clone or replica or whatever you want to call it, and also Twisted 420, which is, we've had him on the show. He had a link posted on his Facebook. They reported that link. They went after the Alibaba posting. They got that removed. So there's some major heavy hitters in the vaping industry that are, trying to combat this, albeit by a kind of a weird way, going after, vendors here in the U.S. Right, correct, and some, they're trying to go up against Joe, and Joe said pretty much bring it. And what kind of worries me though is that they're also going about bloggers and people who are writing news about devices that are out there. We'll talk here about clones. We'll talk about legit devices, and we are not endorsing them. We are basically just putting information out there that there is. So if you want to buy a clone, you can buy it. If you don't, you don't. But you at least
This
know about the
Nemesis clone
product.
that I use every day is a piece of shit.
Well, and
So-
I think the thing is, man, is when it comes to that, like there's going to be a line. There's a line with legal precedent, right? Like coming from our position, like if we were to talk about it, same as if Vapor Joe, I suppose, were to talk about it, or Twisted 420.
Yeah.
There's only I legitimately don't think that there's a whole lot that can really be done about that, because that's not selling it. That's not
Yeah,
endorsing the product.
I think that falls under like a freedom of speech kind of like it's not
Totally.
if he's not selling it or endorsing it like you said.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even if he is endorsing it, I don't see the legal ramifications for that. If
He's not selling it.
if he's not a part of
Joe is a little bit different though, right? Because Joe's actually getting a little money back from the old Fast Tech.
Yeah, but not Twisted.
Twisted,
Right.
no. Well, I don't know if he does ad. I don't know if he gets paid from ads on YouTube or not.
Yeah, but YouTube ad revenue would not be ads about that clone.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
but talking about it and getting ads served, and while you're talking about it, I'm sure they can make that argument.
We're coming down, and it's going to be an interesting line.
it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and I know a few shops. I know Underground Vapes. Omega. We had him. He's been in chats before. I know that he said his whole shop is going full legit mods, no clones. I mean, I think that this is something to keep an eye on and something to watch because it's starting out in the West Coast. There's the vaping industry and just the way of life out there is I don't want to say ahead of the game, but they're trendsetters, okay?
Right.
So I think that is something to keep an eye on. It's going to be really interesting on how it plays out for local B&Ms and stuff like that. I've always said, there are some local B&Ms around here that just sell devices. They just call them devices. They don't tell you if it's a real one. They don't tell you if it's a clone. I have a little bit of an issue with that because I think that when a person then has an issue with a device, they say, oh, I have an issue with this, Magneto, that's a clone, or I have an issue with this Nemesis, that's a clone. And they don't say it's a clone, they just say it's a Nemesis, it's a piece of crap, I'll never use one again. So I think that at least, letting people know about that is good. I can
just
see in
said my Google shows ads for clones sometimes. Are they going to sue Google? Good luck.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing is, I don't know. I honestly don't know how, for example, a lot of people feel about Hannah. Hannah started going after people, and it just blew up.
So
I don't know how far that's gone to.
Make a potential not fully crucifixion here. But not so much a crucifixion, but I'll say, if you go after media people, that's really shitty. Like, if you go after dudes like guys like us, guys like Twisted, who are just talking about things and speaking of what's relevant, that's really fucking shitty.
Yeah.
Like, that is fucking deplorable at that point.
And they're going as far as going after, let's say you have a website. They're going as far as just skipping right over you and going to wherever you have your website and domain registered with. So it's like saying they're going to GoDaddy and they're saying, hey, these people are setting counterfeits, these people are, blah, 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 and they're going to try to get you shut down, which is something that Joe was talking about. And like him or hate him, there's going to be a lot of people attacking him, and I think that there are some good points that are going to come out of something like this because of the fan base that he has, the amount of people, where, to get the word out there, if these guys actually do mean business, they're going to go after him. They're going to go after people who have, people like Twisted who have done either a review or a link or something like that. Because, to go and report a page is simple. You just hit report on a link or something like that. Then to go to Alibaba and say, you need to take this off, and then to, continue that momentum is pretty bold. So.
Well, they was it Angel E-Cigs, I think, got a shipment hit as they hit the U.S. stores too.
I'm fully for them fighting for what they own.
Yeah.
I'm fully for them going after trademark. I'm fully for them, hitting shops if they feel the need to hit shops about clones.
Right.
What I am not fully for is them going after people who fucking talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, but when you start saying going after shops, then you're gonna start getting into does the mod have a logo on it? Do they
Well,
have a trademark on the logo?
so
What legally are they going
absolutely.
after?
I got a text message from. I just got a text message from somebody watching the show who asked to remain anonymous, who was talking to an owner of a distribution company about this. If you have X amount of time, what they're doing is they're going to shops and they're saying you have X amount of time to get all logo counterfeits out of your shop or we will no longer distribute. If you carry no clones with no logos that are obviously clones, then you're fine with this particular very large distribution company. They're considering non-logo clones basically generics. I don't know if this is true for the entire collective, but this is something that I just heard from, that came, I guess, from the words of the mouth, big distribution company. And I trust the source.
Yeah.
But the source asked to remain anonymous, so.
Well, you know what's interesting is that there hasn't been any information about this out anywhere, really. I mean, I just literally heard Joe talking about it in a podcast yesterday or the day, maybe a day or two ago. I think the biggest media information that came out was, the serving papers video that they did at ECC, and I'm wondering if that momentum has started.
But those serving papers guys weren't even mod makers.
I know, but I'm saying just the premise of you're selling clones, I'm serving you papers, and you're in trouble.
Well, I think the only precedent that they really have is trademark.
Right.
Yeah.
It might just be. I don't think they really believe that they can go after China with where they don't even have international patent laws. They don't care. They're untouchable. I don't think they really believe that that something's gonna happen as far as overseas, but maybe just the effort alone will say enough to make a change. You know what I mean? Like just the notion of what they're doing might put the logic into other people's heads and change things a bit,
You know something too that I think is really going to make a change, and I truly believe this, and I'll be the first to say it is people like Steam Monkey, who are making these under $100 mods, mech mods, and stuff like that. I think that people are going to be more inclined to say, this is, made in America, designed here, and it's at a reasonable price, and I want to buy it. I think that's something that will make a change.
Well, there's also going to be a lot less impact if clones go away. There's going to be less people coming back, because right now, if you try to get rid of all clones, can you imagine the pushback? Not everybody has.
No, and I agree, but I think that shows two separate stands against clones, right? Hey, why is one of the main reasons people are buying all these clones is because these mods are priced $200, $300, $400, $500.
And reason number two is availability.
Right, and availability, correct. So you have two types. You have the types that are going to go legally after people, and you have the type that are going to say, shit, let's redesign this, let's make this as an awesome mod as we can, and let's try to do it for under $100.
Yeah, they play the market.
And I think that in the people's court, people are really gonna lean more into an affordable mod.
Well, let's be honest, man. Mod prices are getting out of control. $500, $600, $700.
Yeah.
They're getting fucking absolutely out of control.
Yeah, but they're doing that because people are paying it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But and that's on people for paying it. I'm just saying that the high end market is getting so out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a game. Let's see how much we can charge for this and see what people will pay.
So I just found out there's another one coming. There's a new mod coming out by Diablo and Mopari working together. And I just heard about this. And apparently it is ass ugly. It's fucking terrible. But starting price, lowest price, $900.
Wow. Now, Rob, let me ask you this: as a shop owner, if you have a mod that sells at $200 and your profit here, and you have a mod that sells at $900, does the profit actually increase that much for you selling a mod like that? Is that where some of that pricing is going, or does that really not even correlate with the price of the mod?
These mod makers don't even sell through shops.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, I understand the question.
Yeah, that's true. I'm forgetting that these are
high-end
more.
guys aren't putting them through shops. These are all lists in their pocket.
Even the ones that are being put through shops, there's not that great a profit margin.
No, the high-end market does not have a lot of profit margin. And I mean, on that same note, given that Rob is not only a shop owner, but Rob is also
A modder, yeah.
high-end mod maker.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of cross parallels with that, and because I'd really like to hear your opinions as a mod maker on some of this stuff.
On what aspect? You just
Well,
covered a
I
lot
think-
of ground.
I think what we were driving at is because in case anybody doesn't know, you guys make the. Well, I guess we can just take the Cyborg for example, right?
Okay.
We've got a pretty unique mod, at least when it came out, is a tube mod that's a DNA powered, which is really cool. So, if we saw a, heaven forbid, a clone come out that's got this, the fluid vapor, Cyborg stamp on the plate, what, I guess, do you have any thoughts on that? Any things that what you would do?
It already happened with the flask.
Yeah.
I was definitely aggravated at first when I first saw it. But in this industry, you got to get over it and move on and do something else. There's nothing I could do. I mean, if China came out with a clone Cyborg next week, there's nothing I could do.
Yeah.
So then I got to do something else. I gotta improve on it and push that much harder and make it better or do something different.
See, and I love that attitude because that is pushing people to create things that are even more unique.
Yeah, innovate,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I could bitch and moan about it and spend money on lawyers that is not going to accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Right.
You do that, right? The first Cyborg came out with a mech button, and you were just telling us earlier that you completely redesigned this mech button set so that to make the Cyborg switchable. Constant revision and updating.
It was originally designed as a modular. That was the whole thought behind the Cyborg. It was to be a modular thing. So, the module can come out, the DNA module can come off. It could turn into a mechanical. The threading on both the bottom and the top tube are identical, so you can flip the tubes around. Should it be a telescope and you like the thicker side, everything's compatible and easily upgradable, So I kind of left myself open for that. If something should happen, I can expand on it. It's not locked into what it is,
And that was something that that was one of my questions for you is to talk about that. So we got a really cool form factor for a DNA, relatively novel. There's a couple out there, but not many now. But you got something that's a little bit different in that you can swap out the bottom piece, and all of a sudden you've got a mech, which I think is that kind of hits both worlds, right? You want to run your K-Fun at a constant 19 watts, or you want to switch it around, throw a 650 in it, and drip unregulated. That's really cool.
Right.
So, and on that note, just to talk about it specifically, since we already kind of broached the subject, so your existing one, you were talking about how it's not necessarily modular, but you can leave that switch on there and lock it in place and just use it as regulated, but the new one's going to be a little different, right?
Right. The original mech button we put out was a dual-use button. It could stay on the device and lock in the firing position. So when you have the DNA module on top of it, it's powered, and then you'd use the button on the module, and then you'd be able to take the module off and unclick it, and it would pop out, and that would be your mech button. To have all that inside one bottom button, it's a bit clunky. So we just designed a new mech-only bottom button. That's a recessed flush button. I actually don't even have the prototype with me to show it, but we're pushing to get it out with the next batch of Cyborgs for VaporCon, end of October.
Sweet. So pretty quickly then.
What's that?
So pretty quickly then.
Yeah.
No, we've been working on it. It should be ready soon.
Cool.
Very nice.
Very cool. And to Matt's point a minute ago, one of the things we were talking about before the show was, when you put out your RBA stands, they've got a bunch of features that were, again, pretty unique, but somebody had knocked them off pretty quickly. So what does that leave you to do? That leaves you to
We're redesigning another one.
redesign, get something that's cooler and something that's new, and
Yep.
make the cloner start over, right?
For any of you guys who have not seen the Cyborg, by the way,
Try to stay ahead,
Yeah.
There is an image, or 2 images of the cyborg in
Ooh, I haven't seen that model. That's cool.
varieties. And then I'm gonna.
I was just pulling up pictures too.
Yeah. Just so that you guys.
There's
have
one.
pictures.
He's got his up there.
Yeah, I got the black one.
Yep. Hold on. Let's move up on his screen there.
With the vapor leaking out of the RDA on top. Nice.
Yeah.
But it's a very cool design mod, and I was a big proponent of the Zen system way back in the day when I actually believed that it was a modular system. I'm not going to say any more about that, but I love the idea of a modular system.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been a huge proponent of building a modular system.
Right.
So that you can change things aesthetically, so that you can change things functionally. I've always been a huge proponent of that. I remember way back in Phil's first video when he interviewed you guys, I was super fucking excited about it. Because modular system.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty nice.
I think every chance I get, I try. I love modular systems. The same thing, like the Flask was first, and that was actually based on a modular system. But the Cardo tank, it faded so quickly, and then by the time I was ready for a drop-in Genesis to go into it, it was like Genesis was phasing out already too.
Yeah.
It's tough to keep up, especially with multiple products. If it's one thing you focused on, it'd be easier. But
yeah,
we back up the machinists sometimes.
So you mentioned some release stuff at VaporCon East, and I'm gonna give my little rant here because that excites me. Because at most United States conventions, vendors don't reveal cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually just the same old thing, the same old thing, the same old thing. So the fact that you are revealing cool shit there, or you're going to have brand new shit there for people, is really cool. But I also know that you're really integrated in with the VaporCon East. So do you want to talk a little bit about your expectations for that? Because I know me and Fu will be there.
Yup.
It's in the same venue as last year, which is going to kind of be a double-edged sword because at other events...
Nobody's going to be able to move?
I'm sorry?
Nobody's going to be able to move.
Yeah, I think it's going to be much bigger than last year, and it was already pretty packed last year. I love the vibe of VaporCon. It's that community, it's like a vape meet, not so much as a trade show or a convention. It's a vape meet. It's a huge vape meet, And we're going to be probably shoulder to shoulder in the main room, but at the same time, we don't ever have problems with the venue. There hasn't been any problems with notes under the doors and people getting evicted from their rooms and the alarms going off and there's not issues with that. So I'm kind of happy that it's at that same place because I know we're not going to have those problems, but I think we're going to be pretty packed.
It's going to be a good time, I think.
Either way, it's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm kind of spoiled with Vape Mania being my first con because the space was gigantic.
Enormous.
Huge. I'm going to go to VaporCon and be like, what the fuck is this?
We're also kind of spoiled with that because we were entertaining guests.
That's true. I guess I lucked out at being my first con experience. But I look very forward to VaporCon because, it's going to be a lot of people from New York rolling deep.
That's what VaporCon East is, I swear.
Yeah, it feels cool. Familiar faces and just familiar types of people.
Very deep.
So do we want to read some haikus while Matt starts setting up for TechTime?
Yeah, sure. You want me to read some of the sub ones?
Yeah, go for it.
You can read some of the
You
Facebook.
want to read some Facebook haikus? You can do that better than I do.
All right, we've got looks like about a dozen here on the sub. All right, I'm not going to read names until we get back to it. Oh, somebody went through and downvoted all of them. That's lame.
Whoever did that's a dick.
All right, the Voop life is great. Blowing clouds on the toilet. Voop vape, poop, vape, poop. Thick white clouds that rise. Heavenly aromas mask. Thick brown logs that drop. I like to vape while I poop because vaping is the best poop pairing. Evil fumes linger. Voltage ignites the juiced coil. The stank is vanquished. The cold ring of life with a Y. The cold ring of life waiting for warm, sweet release. Soft clouds hide the pain.
What juice are people? What juice are people vaping that it hides the poo smell completely? Because I mean, my bathroom when I vape smells like whatever I'm vaping, but there's still that poo undertone.
There's always the poo undertone.
Carry on.
Alright. Plop plop in the bowl. Dripping juice in the addy. Fecal flavoring. Walking mod in hand. Lavatory approaching. Time for smell of voop. Oh god, it's too thick. Nimbus at first comes to this. Where's toilet paper? On my vooping throne, a helpful stand much needed. Thanks. No poop on mod. Plumes and fumes mingle from on low. The throne for getting one's juice will be far worse and akin to being stranded. That does not sound like it a haiku. There was
No.
That was okay. All right, that's what I got on the sub.
All right, Facebook. Let me pull this out. Since I'm assuming Fu didn't pull it up.
Nope.
He's in his big time chair. He
I
didn't.
know he is. Click, hiss, foosh, exhale. Legs fell asleep long ago. Drip, drip, plop, plop, wipe. Cold porcelain, warm vape, strain, splash, plumes of relief. Pants round my ankles, nana cream all in my lungs. Voop life, full life, dog. Voop stand I must have. Cotton, dry, juice on the desk, diarrhea, why?
That was from Jonas. He is not eligible.
He's not eligible, but it was good.
It was good. He's in Lithuania.
Yeah. Big poo. Vape cloud blowing out of both ends. Mod on the counter. iPad and a beer in hand. Stinker tinker time.
Your tinker time.
Forget this haiku shit. When I voop, my dick touched the water.
Oh my god. Wow, what a great time to come back to.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
you gotta be careful with that. Remember, if you don't follow the rules, people are gonna get hurt.
I know. The girlfriend says spray, as if that shit is needed. Clouds cover that smell. Man, I have to shit. Thank God I have a box mod. Crap and custard taste. Relaxed on the toilet. My mod resting in my hand. Sublime clouds, my peace. Voop stand near the poop stand. Keeps mod clean and out of your hand.
That's a good one.
Sitting on the pot. Don't need air freshener now. Got tanks full of CK. As I sit for a poo, it make me think of Mast and Foo.
What? Come on. Freaking hashtag brown people.
Clouds of flavor plume.
I think Sean wrote that one.
Blush away in a small room. Vooping helps you deal. Wake up, sit down, nothing better than a double-ended toot. Inhale sweet vapor. Pressure released, holy shit. Bask in ecstasy.
You're like the most boring reader ever, Sean.
That's why
Pressure released. Holy shit!
Inhale peaches, exhale shit. Wipe dew off stash.
That's
I see what you
D-E-W.
did
Wait,
there.
that's D-E-W, not D-double-O.
I know. I see what he did there.
That is way too long to count, so I'm skipping it. Fruity, poopy clouds. Need TP for my bunghole. What a fluid voop. I really must voop. This is 7 syllables. Gotta go voop now.
Little line's got a funny on that one.
Your poop really stinks. Take your mod to clean the air. Voop life the sweet smells. Vooping, that's what I do. Sometimes I don't even really poo. Vooping skills, foo. Prairie dogging, need vape. Clenched cheeks, running to bathroom. Big clouds can hide shame. Those are the ones I got.
No, there's one that updated right when you were reading. Chitty chitty drip bang, chitty chitty voop bang, shitty shitty atomizer dang.
I think that's
Go
too many
ahead, Max.
syllables.
It's way too many syllables. It was still funny.
Mass, go ahead. We'll converse while Mass does tech time.
Wait, did you do the? Is there any on the YouTube?
I think all of them are across. Let me check just to make sure. Oh, there is one new one. On my toilet throne, liquid clinging to silver coils explode into vapors. We get that one already?
I don't know.
think so.
I don't think so.
There might be a new one.
Somebody in chat said, "Is this really happening?" Yes, it is happening.
That's
All
it.
right, tech time. Hit it, Masty.
Why is Massey not talking?
Man, I've been talking for the last 5 minutes. What the hell?
You've been muted.
I know. Here we have the SX350 100 watt board. I'm going to show booting up here. Just going to show some functionality of it. Show it turning on, and then we're going to get into the measurements and everything else so we can compare with some of the other older SX350 boards. Oh, look, it's already set to 100 watts. How nice. As you can tell, it thinks my battery is shit. Has your USB port. Again, this is only for upgrading, not for charging. You know, you have your. This one did come with the up and down wires. So you have a ground and you have a up and a down. And when you ground them out, you'll see. We should see voltage change there. There we have voltage going down. Okay, or you can also do it via the tilt. So we'll go in through that. There's one of the presets. You know, you guys know how these guys work. Let's see, system link, display. So you can actually on this one also change the display. So if we tilt over, there you go. There's upside down. We go back. We go to auto. We'll just leave it on left. Okay, and you actually can just adjust the wattage, which is nice. You don't have to go through the presets. All right. And next one up is exit. So we'll exit out of there. So pretty much, you know, same functionality as the latest SX boards. This one obviously going up to 100 watts. This one does not have anything modular on the board, whether it's screens or USB or anything like that. One of the things that they did do was they have moved the wires for the USB up on the top. Okay, so it makes it a lot easier. Some of the wiring for the older USB boards was on the bottom, and when you went to try to mount this flat in a mod, you know, you ended up, you know, bending the wires out of the way. Sometimes the wires would you know, basically pop out from the sockets that they were in because of the solder, you know, from moving the wires around. So there you have it. That's the functionality. Big 16 gauge already pre-wired for you. So ready to go, 16 gauge on the in and on the out. I'm going to unhook it from the battery here so we can actually take some measurements and compare between the older board for people who, you know, might have a mod that has an older board in it and they want to go ahead and upgrade or switch it out. So here is, I'm going to do side-by-side comparison I mean, first thing you're going to notice is, wow, does that wiring make a freaking difference? Here's an SX350 original board on my right hand, and here's the 100 watt. Okay, so we'll put them there side by side, and we're actually going to get some better measurements. Looks like more shpukaki on the on these boards.
Is that a technical term?
It is. It is. That's what I call this black stuff, shpukaki. Obviously, wiring difference, and the USB is going to be different. Here's what I was talking about. The old USBs, they had the wires coming out of the bottom, and as you can tell, they're kind of flimsy, so you could sometimes break them off by trying to mount stuff. So there's the front. Screens look about the same. Yeah, they're the same. Same mounting style with that more shpukaki underneath it. And the back, one thing that I did notice was, obviously this one is pre-wired. Some are going to be pre-wired, some are not. I think there's maybe a $5 difference. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. So that'll be Veritube. One of the biggest factors that you see on here is that inductor. Huge difference in the size, okay? And a few other things, that are a little bit different. The wires coming out here, all they did was running from here to the center, so you don't have any issues. So let's grab some measurements. The length of the zero this guy out. Length of the old, I don't want to call it old school because it's still prevalent. So we'll just call it the 60 watt board of the board itself. We're looking at about 45 millimeters, and on this guy we're looking at about the same, okay, lengthwise. Thickness on the 100 watt board, or I should say width, you're looking at about 19.8, and on the 60 watt one you're looking at about 19.7. Okay, 19.69, 19.7. Let's go back, because some of this also might be some of this. I actually want to get a good measurement. Might be some of that spectacular stuff. Yeah, I think it's about the same as the other board. Now, the main difference here is going to be thickness because of this inductor. So from the front of the board, and we'll just be liberal about this, about 11.57 versus this board. We'll trying to move some of the wires out of the way here. You guys can see. Yeah, there's a big difference. There's about 9.8. And this is going to be the biggest factor for modders, manufacturers who have already put some of these boards in and are wanting to go up to the 100 watt. That's this size. Okay, because a lot of people have been able to fit this into a compact size. You could tell there's a reasonable difference there with the inductor. So that is going to be offset more, and it's going to take up more space internally. And it looks like another thing that you're going to have to worry about too is the radius bend on these wires. He gave me Perry over at Veritube gave me a board to see if I could fix, and one of the things I wanted to show that you want to be careful with is when you're mounting these, keep an eye out on the positive, on the negatives, because they start doing something like this. Okay, see how that's frayed? Let me get a closer shot there.
Wow.
Get it to see how it starts fraying like that. Now this was mounted in a mod that had to get ripped out of. It had a screen issue. Okay, and as you can see right there, the positive is starting, and that happens from just mounting and taking it out and putting it back in, and just setting the board in place and finally having it in place and then having to take it out. So I don't see this being an issue.
Chat question, Mast. Is the first version of the SX350 going to be upgradable to 100 watts?
I don't think so. This is something that he always changes its mind on. If they upgrade to anything else, I say 2 months ago, possibly it could have gone to 70, maybe 80. With all these problems that Cloudport has been having with their boards frying and everything else, I don't think so. Yeehee's number one concern is safety. Like, they are really paranoid about taking, a original SX350 board from 60 watts to even 70 watts, and something happening, whether it's batteries being, overdrained or wiring. I mean, you saw that all of a sudden they just went out and said, no, everything has to have 16 gauge on it. So I really don't. This will be pure speculation because, like I said, he changes their mind every 5 minutes. I think that if they upgrade anything else, it might be features to the boards, not necessarily wattage. So for a few dollars more, I think it's. I know that these are going on sale on Veritube, so the 60-watt boards will drop down in price some. For a little bit more, if you want, just get the 100-watt. These are in stock right now. Remember to use the Plumes code for 10% off. But I don't think that, if people are waiting to get to 100 watts with these boards, I don't think it's going to happen. So I think at the most, I think 60 is all you're going to see. I mean, and this is one of the first telltale signs. I mean, look at that inductor compared to that one. There's a big difference in components on the board that are able to output that kind of power. So, and that's just being one of them, and a few other things that they've changed on there. So, also that, and the addition of, now requiring, almost double the power input voltage-wise to drive these boards. So. So if you're hanging around one of these, or you're waiting to buy one of these and waiting for an upgrade, I don't think they're going to go up much higher than 60 watts. Okay.
Well, we knew that there was going to be power problems as they kept stepping it up, man.
Yeah, and I think that's why they finally went ahead and released these 100-watt boards. So
with everything
there you have it,
out and ready to handle it.
Yep. And the last thing that I wanted to show was I have it right here, the charging board that's going to come. Remember, because your USB is only going to be used for upgrading, okay, and the 100-watt boards. It's not going to be used for charging because it doesn't do balancing. So they are going to be including and selling a charger board that looks like this, and it'll have a DC jack port on there. Okay, this is another wrench in the plans for modders, because now you have a choice, or you have options of, do you have a USB and a charging port? Okay. Do you omit the USB, put it inside the box somewhere where the user can get to, and only use it when they need to upgrade, and now have a port? Okay.
Surely that's the only real option, right? I mean, because otherwise it would be confusing as hell.
Well, it just depends. There's a lot of mods that are going to be completely, not serviceable, I should say. That people are really, do you really want them to be taking the mod apart to pull that USB out? Yeah. A USB that might be used once or twice a year, to do an upgrade, or it just depends. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But here's the charging board that was coming with the original boards that they sent out. This is just for visual aesthetics here, guys. This isn't necessarily what the board is going to look like or the size of it, okay? Because the balancing board is obviously going to have a few more components on it. As you can tell, this is a version 1. This is only a 9-volt DC board, but you will see it will be a DC jack. Now, I am kind of happy about this because charging through micro USB has always been a pain in the ass. Okay, whether people breaking, the boards off, or having amp limitations and stuff like that, a lot of that's going to go away when they go to something like this with a wall adapter, which is nice because it removes a lot of the heat. I should say, not necessarily something that's going to create heat, but some of the components are removed out of the board to the wall wart. But and I think it's going to be a little bit sturdier plug. So
well, there's no orientation either for the plug, right? You jam it in.
Correct. Yes. And one of the things that I do see on here, there is a status light. Again, this is just for visual so you guys can see kind of what something might look like. I don't know if this is exactly what the board is going to look like or have this configuration, but it'll be something like this with your leads, where it'll have leads going to your separate cells.
I just want to throw this out there too as a side note. We are not biased to EE. We would be more than happy to do a tech time on the new DNA chip if Brandon would let us buy it.
Absolutely. Brandon
just happens to come out with new shit all the time.
Yeah,
so I do tech time with it.
Yeah, I try to get my hands, and you guys know this, on anything that I can that's accessible to me. I honestly don't have all day and night to be hounding people and trying to find stuff. But hey, if anybody in chat or anybody listening has an into maybe possibly getting one of the DNA boards that I know for a fact are out there right now,
I will buy the board.
That is a beta. Hey, we'll bring it on. We'll talk about it, or whatever can be talked about. Any information we can get out to the public about any new device or anything coming out, be more than happy to. So, there you go.
All right, Massey, we've got one final entry that you need to read for the haiku.
Because that final entry is our winner.
But before that, we're gonna
let me switch back. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. Ahmed, you want to read the randos?
Oh yeah, the
RBA
random winners for the RBA workstation are neutral and buy my sandwiches. Congratulations.
All right. So where are you pasting this thing so I can read it?
Side chat. Last 3 lines.
So winners PM your info to one of us in chat.
Or on Reddit.
It over to Rob.
Or whatever.
Chat, Facebook, whatever.
What do I got to read?
You got to read it because it's funnier
right.
if you say it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Run quickly to Voop. Mexican the night before. I am true white boar.
So that was
Wow.
a late entry by our friend Dog Mods, and
straight night Friday piping, man. Just all right.
It was the best one, and we pretty much all agreed on that. So Dogmod was going to get a Voop stand.
out of anyone who needs it, I think him the most.
Yeah.
Good.
Because you've seen what he has to work with, and
yeah.
The only problem with that is that now he's gonna want to show it off, so we're gonna have to see his bathroom.
Yeah.
Which I'm scared. Because I thought that he just went into his sump pump. So.
So I want to thank everybody who watched. Rob, thank you very much for coming on.
Yes, thank you, Rob.
Throwing stuff for giveaways. It was a good show. It was a lot of fun. By the way, I do want to end this show on pictures of an IPv2 that failed with Mass playing music. If anybody has anything else to say.
Okay, you ready?
Let me screen share.
Okay.
No, don't play something that's gonna get us sued. Oh man.
Sean, you're not presenting.
Developers.
Sean, you gonna end the show anytime today?
There's more pictures.
There's like a million pictures in
Yeah,
that.
keep the music on.
My dick touched the water. My dick touched the water.
That one's gonna
My dick touched the water.
That's nasty.
Wow, that thing did actually.
Yeah. Push it to 50 watts. Go back.
It was pushed to 50 watts. It went on fire and